Hey everyone, welcome back to Fantasy Endgame live on Monday night to wrap up Week 9. Another very interesting, shall we say, week, and some fallout already before the week is officially even over. You know, Black Friday is still a couple of weeks away, and Black Monday always comes the last day after the regular season. We have kind of a mid-season version of that. Got a couple of firings, and rightfully so. This is kind of long overdue, and I think Bears fans are all kind of like just waiting and hoping that there's another one coming. But let's talk about the Saints somehow managing to lose to the Carolina Panthers. So now there's a legit battle for worst team in the NFL, and the Saints are staking their claim, but it's going to be without Dennis Allen. I don't think this comes as a huge surprise, and I really don't think anybody will say it's not deserved. So I think the question here, Chris, is does this have any actual impact on fantasy? We know the trade deadline is tomorrow.
Yep.
Think there's any immediate fallout in terms of players getting shipped off that matter for fantasy? Do you think there's a full tank job? Is Derek Carr keeping his job?
I don't think they're going to ship anybody off. I mean, who would they? I mean, Alvin Kamara would be the only one, but they just gave him an extension. They're probably not going to ship him off. Derek Carr, who knows? He might not keep his job. I mean, at some point we might see Spencer Rattler get another swing at things, but I don't think this really is going to change anything for fantasy. It's like the Saints are just stuck. Like everybody's hurt. They're done. Like everybody's hurt. I mean, we saw what happened to Olave yesterday. Look, maybe Olave will be back this year, but it's probably not going to be anytime soon. They're done. They just got to roll with this team and try to do something in the offseason.
Which easier said than done. Apparently, their salary caps positioning right now is not that great, and Derek Carr, they're on the hook for I don't remember some insane cap hit if they actually do move on from Carr, and of course who's going to take him. So unfortunately it might be in limbo for at least another year. Hate to see it, but that's just the way it is. So I think the Saints, I mean, honestly, are they any better than, let's say, the Carolina Panthers for fantasy value? Olave's not there, Shaheed is gone. I mean, Kamara, sure, there's still Kamara is everything in that offense. Is there even a single player besides Kamara and maybe the sporadic sprinkling of Taysom Hill in your lineup that we should be interested in? You're like, okay, Olave's out. Yeah, like maybe, I talked about Mason Tipton and, stash him. Yeah, he did nothing yesterday. Maybe I'm out of maybes though.
Yeah, it's Kamara. I mean, sure, Taysom Hill at tight end, probably viable now because who else they got? But that's it. I don't want any other part of this offense. If Olave does come back this year, I think we probably have to buy back into him again. But it will be very risky because now the risk, of course, is he's always one hit away. So, and unlike a guy like Tua, who can at least, protect himself to some degree, Olave going across the middle can't always protect himself. So he'll be risky if he does come back this year, but it's pretty much Alvin Kamara. And yeah, like you said, Taysom if you need a tight end, that's it.
It seems like a very, very distant memory when they were 2-0 and the top scoring team in the NFL. Yeah, that almost feels surreal. It did happen. I checked it. I looked online. It did happen. Crazy. All right, now the Raiders did some firing of their own, not head coach Antonio Pierce, but offensive coordinator Luke Getsy, which was curious as a hire in the first place because he got ran out of Chicago for being bad. And it took half a season for the Raiders to figure it out. Hey, he's bad. But does this really change anything there as far as the Raiders? What personnel do they even have to work with? Not saying that it's that Getsy's being scapegoat or anything, but sometimes like we saw with the Raiders last year when they got AP as their temporary head coach, they actually improved, right? They turned it around. They started winning. And this year, well, he's still the head coach and they're not winning. And so I don't know if hiring a new offensive coordinator is going to spark anything here.
I don't think so, because again, the captain of the ship is still there. So yeah, this doesn't interest me. And at least before, like obviously in the offseason, we were very high on Zamir White. That didn't work out. And then it looked like, okay, well, Alexander Madison, maybe he's the guy. And then what did we see this week? And I think Amir Abdullah led the running backs in snaps with them, playing from behind most of the games. Amir White got a little bit more involved, scored the touchdown because, of course, why not? Now that we've all given up on him, let's get Zamir White a touchdown. So to me, this is Jacoby Myers, Brock Bowers. That's it. Like, I'll still start Brock Bowers at tight end. I'll still start Jacoby Myers. Myers has been really good at wide receiver without Devontae Adams. That's it. Because we're still going to look. It's Gardner Minshew, Desmond Ridder, Aiden O'Connell. That's it. Yeah. Like there's no Superman walking through that door. It's terrible quarterback A, terrible quarterback B, or terrible quarterback C. So
take your pick. Yeah, none of the choices are very good or even better than the other. And this also leads to the question. Look, I know there's usually a lot more talk than action when it comes to the trade deadline, but do you see a guy like Jacoby Myers getting dealt? Because why not? Chris Olave is like, no, that's not going to happen. First of all, he's hurt, not going to come back real soon. And they're not going to just trade away their good young receiver just because he doesn't like it there. I mean, nobody probably likes it there in New Orleans right now. But do you think Myers might be on the move?
He could be. He does have a pretty big cap hit next year, almost $15 million cap hit. So if a team's going to trade for him, they have to feel like this is a guy that, fills a need for the team, not just like a rental to help him get over the hump. So remember, the trade deadline is what? Like 24 hours away. So it's, I never feel like the trade deadline lives up to the hype, to be honest.
Because there's a lot of rumors and talk that never was going to happen in the first place. A lot of maybes and a lot of, wishful thinking. So, yeah, somebody might move somewhere. And then we got to talk Dallas Cowboys. Not the worst, but it probably feels like they're the worst team in the NFL watching them, especially if you're a Cowboys fan. They're just not doing too well. Now Dak Prescott set to miss multiple weeks. And CeeDee Lamb, oh, by the way, is also week to week. Now, we don't think that they're going to blow anything up, and Mike McCarthy just hanging on by a thread here at this point. Jerry Jones said something real vague about how they're going to make a move. They're going to do something. Do you see them actually doing anything impactful?
No, they haven't done anything impactful all year. Why would they do something impactful now? This season's over for Dallas. Dak out multiple weeks, maybe an IR stint. CeeDee Lamb with the shoulder. Yeah, like, well, what could they do? Like, go trade for Chuba? That's going to save their season, or some running back? Like, they're not gonna go get a difference maker on defense. Nah, this is a lost season for Dallas probably, unless Cooper Rush can just play out of his mind for the next 4 weeks and win 4 straight games for them or something, but probably not. And obviously for fantasy, this is not good because sure, the offense, the team hadn't been good, but at least you can still count on CeeDee Lamb. You can count on Jake Ferguson. Look, Rico Dowdle had a nice game yesterday, but man, we've seen 4 games. Cooper Rush. Like, I think CeeDee Lamb is still startable. Jake Ferguson, maybe borderline startable. Got to drop him down. Yeah, not good. Not good.
Yeah, Ferguson at least, one half of Dak basically and one half of Rush. Ferguson still came through with a decent amount of receptions, yardage. Got to think the touchdown upside is lower now. Still startable as far as tight ends go. And then aside from CeeDee Lamb, like you said, like a guy like Jalen Tolbert, we had some interest in. Sure, like Tolbert scored a touchdown, but going forward, I think you got to look somewhere else.
Yep.
Oh, let's see. Be curious if anything else does happen. Any big moves do happen tomorrow. Obviously, we know tomorrow it's a big day. It's trade deadline day. So we're going to see any big moves get made. I feel like the biggest of the moves have already happened, right? The receivers we thought might go somewhere have already gone, but maybe some minor bits and pieces get shifted around. Be very curious to see what happens. But before we get to tomorrow, don't forget tonight. It's still one game left. It's the Chiefs and the Bucks. And we're here to help you answer questions. If you got questions for tonight's lineup, Chiefs, Bucks, you got some players you're still not sure about. Maybe you need something, or maybe just want some help to decide whether you think you're going to win. I always love the "Am I cooked?" questions. We'll answer them for you. But also, don't forget, got the pick'ems. Get Pat Mahomes in there. It's 1 yard. Pat Mahomes going higher than 0.5 total yards. That's the freebie you can still take as of right now before week 9 is over. New customer special. Anybody who hasn't tried Underdog, you want to try Underdog, you need to try Underdog if you haven't yet. You get this free pick still for tonight, just 1 yard, Pat Mahomes. You also get a deposit match all the way up to $1,000 worth of bonus cash if you use code ENDGAME when you check out. So definitely try it. If you haven't yet, go and check out Underdog now. By the way, speaking of tonight, curious your take, because obviously it's going to be a little too late to change. What are your thoughts on, somebody asked me, it would kind of like a casual football fan at work. It's like, hey, is it worth watching tonight? Is it going to be a good game? And I was like, they're good teams, but I don't think it's going to be a good game. You know what I mean? I just don't feel a lot of points being scored, because like the Chiefs, but it's not the same Chiefs, right? Offensively. And then they have a good defense. Tampa Bay without Godwin and Evans. I don't know. I'm not feeling a lot of fantasy points tonight. You think I'm being too pessimistic?
I hope so. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of fantasy points tonight, but I think it'll be a good game, because you have the thing about Tampa Bay is they almost always are in good games because that defense is so bad that they give up points, and then the offense has to play fast and score points. So I think because of that, it'll at least be a competitive game. But the Chiefs defense is good, and the Bucks are missing their two best players, which certainly hurts. So yeah, we'll see. I hope so. I hope there's fantasy points. I'm just most interested to see how much run DeAndre Hopkins gets tonight. That's kind of what I'm most looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, I will say that I was kind of feeling good about D Hop, because it's such a good matchup. So we'll see what happens there. And I'm also curious how Baker is going to respond again without those two receivers, but also in a tough matchup. Because last week, sure, you didn't have him, but it wasn't that bad of a spot. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, but let's see about these questions. Let's start with Real Superman. 6 points behind. It's half. Got Otten versus the kicker. Yeah.
I don't think you're cooked or anything. I mean, Otten without Evans and Godwin is going to get a ton of targets, and Jalen McMillan has been ruled out for tonight. They do have Sterling Shepard, but I don't think that's a big threat to Otten. They're probably going to have to throw the ball. So I don't think you're cooked.
No guarantees. I know I just said don't love the Bucks offense against this really good Chiefs defense, but you gotta look. I mean, he's already getting a ton of targets, and now, like you said, might even need to get more. 10 targets each of the last 2 games. That's Cade Otton. 9 catches, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he doesn't even need to do that for you to win. And the week before that was 8 for 100. I mean, he could definitely put you, get you like in the teens. So as long as they don't kick a bunch of field goals, yeah, you can definitely win. Just Flow needs 4 points. Okay, got to make the right choice here. Rachaad White or Xavier Worthy?
I think you got to go Rachaad White. I mean,
yeah,
he can get 4 points easy. Worthy's the type of guy that can get you a 0. So just go with the guy. Look, Rachaad, Worthy has the potential for like a 50-yard home run touchdown, but you need 4 points. Go with Rachaad White.
Exactly. That's what it comes down to. What do you need? I mean, Worthy, I can't even say I'm very confident he gets you 4 points, because he could get you like 1 catch for 17 yards, 2 catches for less than 20 yards. So it's Rachaad White. Yeah.
Yep.
And by the way, I know the last couple of weeks, y'all know we've been joined by our guy Keith. Keith saying, "What's up from NYC?" He'll be back No worries. Yeah, it's probably gonna be a boring trade deadline, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think all the big moves have been made. We'll see.
All right, Cody's got a question. First of all, finally snapped the losing streak.
All right, there we
Wow.
go.
Had Olave
Wow.
and Puka in the lineup and you still won. That's pretty impressive. Just need Kelsey to keep out of the negatives. You know, it's funny. Some people do this, right? Where they're winning and they just bench whoever they have left. Like, I just don't want negative points. I don't roll that way. Do you?
I would. It depends. I mean, if I feel like I need the points, like if I'm not one of the highest scoring teams, I mean, look, there's not a good chance that Kelsey gets you a negative, and probably not the KC defense either. You could probably roll with them. But if I'm going into the game and I'm winning by only like say a point or something, I would definitely bench my defense in that case. I've had too many weeks where defenses gave me negatives, and then it's like, not that I lost because, well, I probably did lose because of that, but it wasn't like a Monday night negative where it's like, oh my gosh, I would have won if I didn't start the defense. In this case, though, you got Kelsey and the defense, you're probably good.
Yeah, well, generally speaking, I'm like, okay, come on. Probably the chances of getting negative points. Like, no, I want to run up the score. I want to pad my total points in the season. I want the most possible points. I will say that though, defenses in some formats, they penalize you, right? If they give up like over 28 points or whatever it is, you get negative points.
Yeah.
Okay, so a defense I would bench if there's a realistic chance to get you negative points. Kelsey, I mean, the chances of getting negative is pretty low. All right. Let's do Brian Furman. Yeah, I think you're good. I don't know. What do you think? Doubling the opponent and you have Kareem Hunt? No.
You never know. Maybe Kareem Hunt's going to set the all-time fantasy football single game record tonight. Remember, as a rookie, Kareem Hunt, his first game, I actually came across this the other day. I don't know why. I don't know if you remember this. As a Chief, his first game back with Alex Smith. First time he got the ball, carried the ball, he fumbled. Thankfully, he plays for Andy Reid and not Bill Belichick. He went on to have like 230 yards in that game and 2 touchdowns after fumbling his very first time touching the football. So hopefully he doesn't do that tonight. But even then, I think you'd still win. So you're good.
Yeah, you should still be good. But I actually just wanted to say that despite starting 1-3, the team's coming together. There you go.
Nice.
That's what we're talking about. Cannot panic about the early season. All right, Ethan Struby, week 9 was not kind. All right, but you're still 5-4. You're good. Except you got Olave. Yeah, that hurt. BTJ, man. I really don't want to go and revisit all the big duds from yesterday, but Olave got hurt. He got hurt. That's just bad luck. But BTJ, I mean, do you think this was really he wasn't 100%, or is this just Trevor Lawrence just hates us?
I just think it was one of those games. I think it was just one of those games. They couldn't get anything really going on offense, and then when they got near the couple of times they got near the goal line, it was Trevor Lawrence running in the football. So it is what it is. But I mean, yeah, I see how you lost yesterday. Murray was a huge bust. Olave, of course, got hurt. BTJ was a bust. Kenneth Walker was a bust. JT was a bust. Ertz was a bust. Waddle, huge bust. Myers was good at least.
At least you got one player. You got CMC hopefully coming back next week. Evans soon. Yeah, okay. Okay, what moves, trades should I make? He's saying buy Mason because he's got CMC. You can buy
I'm not buying Mason. If I have Mason, I'll hold him, but I'm not like going out trying to trade for him. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what are you gonna do here? This is one of those weeks. Just one of those weeks. Like, you don't want to just like say, okay, I lost. I need to shake things up. It's one of those weeks. And look, Olave, now you're stuck with Olave. Right. If you have Olave, you're stuck with Olave. No one's trading. They know the risk. They're not trading for Olave. So you're stuck with Olave. JT should get better. Hopefully. They do get the Bills this week, so that should help. Kenneth Walker still got like a zillion touches. He'll be fine. BTJ should be fine. Myers looks good. You should have Evans back soon. Yeah, you're good here.
Yeah, I mean, you have three really good. You have three stud running backs. You got Walker and JT, or every week you still must start. Just happen to be both bad in the same week, along with everybody else on your team. CMC, yeah, you're good. Just think of it this way: Evans will, if not this week, next week, take the place of Olave. So you're good. J1364 wanting to know if Ray Davis is a good pickup. Needs depth at the position. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, he's fine. Like, don't go chasing that. What was like a 70-yard reception for a touchdown, but we've already seen one game this year without James Cook. He was the guy, so you got to think if James Cook goes down, he is the guy. So yeah, he's got to be one of the higher end handcuffs for sure.
Yeah, definitely worth the stash. Thomas, 11 points from D-Hop in PPR. Does he do it?
I don't know. I hope he gets 11 points. We'll see. It's good. Like I said, I'm really watching to see how involved D-Hop is tonight. Juju is out again, so he should be involved. It's a good matchup. I feel like he should be able to get 11 points, but I'm not guaranteeing 11 points. That's for sure.
Right. I won't go so far as to guarantee it. He should. I mean, 11 points, 5 catches, 60-something yards, right? That's definitely doable against Tampa Bay secondary. Last week, basically got you like 5, not even 5 points. But that was his first game, and you knew he was going to be limited. I really don't know why he would be on a snap count of any sort right now. So I wouldn't guarantee it either, but I think you got a good chance. What about Alexis? Down 23 and a half, have Bucky and Kelsey.
Yeah. I mean, PPR, like, okay, let's say Kelsey scores and gets you like 15, which is pretty big for a tight end. You still need 8.5 from Bucky. It's doable. It's a sweat. It's going to be a sweat. I mean, if I had to pick, I'd sadly pick against you, Alexis, which I don't want to do, but I don't want to also just say what you want to hear. Although maybe you just want me to say what you want to hear. I don't know. But I don't think it's like, if it was like 30, 35, I'd say, yeah, you probably don't have a chance. But I think 23.5, you still have a chance.
Yeah, I'd say it's not a great chance, but it's a chance. I don't really expect much from Bucky, so you need Kelsey to have a big game, score some touchdowns. We'll be pulling for you, like always.
Yep.
Miguel is looking for the Chiefs defense to score 10 points. No, I actually feel pretty good about that because Baker Mayfield, as I was saying, multiple interceptions 3 games in a row, still got no receivers to throw to. So I do feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on your defense scoring. If it's like your typical scoring, I mean, 10 points is a pretty big defensive game without a touchdown because whoever invented defense scoring decided that giving up a touchdown should be a major penalty because NFL defenses should never give up touchdowns, apparently.
Nope.
I don't know who did that, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, depends on the scoring system you use. You never know with defenses. All right, Lewis' son needs Auden to score less than 9.
I mean, it's certainly I mean, if he doesn't score a touchdown, there's no guarantee. Like, you know, it's like I would think he would go over 9, but you know, we did see it was not National Tight End Day yesterday, and tight ends crashed back down to earth fairly hard yesterday, unless of course you started some random tight end like Mike Gesicki, Josh Oliver, or Taysom Hill, then you're pretty good, but. Like, you know, 9 is still a pretty good tight end game without a touchdown. So I think he'll go over 9, but you never know.
Yeah, I would bet the higher here if I had to, but again, you never know. Like you said, this was basically making up for National Tight End Day last week. So now we had, of course, the pendulum had to swing the opposite way. None of the good tight ends did anything, basically. It's just how it is. Don's got a good question. What do you do when a player's questionable on game day? Take a chance, bench him, decided to bench Puka. All right, well, that turned out good, but not for the reason we thought. I mean, it always
Right.
depends.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know if you're here on Sunday mornings, but we usually have a pretty good idea of who's going to play and who's not Sunday morning. Now, I will say, if Puka was questionable, like going to be a game time decision with his knee, then yeah, it makes sense. Like, okay, yeah, I avoid Puka, but he got ejected in the second quarter because he threw a punch. Which, by the way, why do NFL players throw a punch?
Yeah.
They're wearing these humongous helmets. Like I never understood that. But anyways, yeah, I mean it worked out. But yeah, if I have a decision where it's like this guy may or may not play and he plays in the late game or he plays the Monday night game, then I'll probably just avoid.
Right. It's always a case by case basis. You never know. I usually, if it's a true game time decision, like, hey, we're gonna wait until right before kickoff and see how he does and stretching. I'm like, okay, no,
Yeah.
if it's that close, if it's that, unless it's an absolute stud player, it's not worth it, right? Not worth the risk, usually. All right, thoughts on this? We did talk Saints and Olave. Probably going to say no here. Champ wants to know, is it a buy low window for Olave?
I mean, if you can get him for dirt cheap, like if somebody's like, I just don't want this guy, like, sure, but I wouldn't give up a starter because again, there is a chance. This is like his 5th concussion.
Right.
There's definitely a chance we don't see him rest the season, sadly. So only if it's very, very cheap, like somebody on your bench, somebody's like, just give me that guy on your bench because I just don't want to deal with Olave. Okay, fine, I'll put Olave on my bench and see what happens.
Yeah, it would have to be almost nothing, and you can stash him on IR if he goes on IR. Yeah, this situation now, I mean, people, of course, everyone talk about Tua, and, Olave didn't do, like, the fencing and, the obvious, but this is as serious because of how many he has had. And, again, this is 2 serious concussions within the same month. So this is serious. I wouldn't be surprised. Look, they just fired their coach. They're the worst team out there right now. Why bring him back? Like, why even risk it? I mean, they should put him on IR. They should just end his season. It didn't sound like they want to play for him anyways. Between all that stuff, the brothers. No, anyways. No, I'm not trading for Olave. Arvin Angeles. Thinking about trading CeeDee Lamb. Okay, well, let's hear this out first. Potential trade partner says Kupp, Higgins, Waddle, BTJ are available to pick 2.
If I can get Kupp and Brian Thomas Jr. for Lamb, I'm just taking it. Just give me Kupp and Brian Thomas Jr. at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Kupp's part of the deal plus a startable receiver, and these are all startable wide receiver 2 types. I think that's enough.
They're almost all startable wide receiver 2 types.
Yeah, I mean, Higgins is very startable when he plays, but I would say, yeah, I think you can do that. So Kupp and BTJ.
That's probably who I'd prefer. I'd also be okay with Kupp and Higgins. Just know you got to get on the Higgins roller coaster. But look, Higgins saying he wants to play this week. It's the Ravens.
Yeah, but it's a Thursday game, and that's what worries me is the short turnaround. Is he really going to be ready? I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. But even if he doesn't, he was great before the injury. But I would prefer Kupp and BTJ.
Right. Yeah, if you can get those 2, do it. I mean, obviously you can. He's saying pick 2. Hey, pick those 2, Kupp and BTJ.
Yeah, let somebody else deal with that.
Back on the Dallas topic here, Champ wants to know, does Ferguson take a hit with Dak out?
You got to think. You got to think so.
I kind of agree with Big Lou here. Basically, everyone takes a hit except for maybe Dalvin. Like you mentioned Dalvin on the waiver wire video. What do you think about both Ferguson and Dalvin?
Yeah, you got to think Ferguson takes a slight hit here. I mean, they're still going to have to throw the ball, but it's Cooper Rush throwing the ball. I do agree. Dowdle probably doesn't take as much of a hit because he's a running back, and it's not like he was living off of touchdowns. But at the same time, also, let's remember, I mean, I know it's week 10, so if Dak is out for 4 weeks, it's basically weeks 10, 11, 12, and 13. So you're not getting Dak back till week 14, but at least Dak should be back for the fantasy playoffs. So don't do anything crazy here, like, if you look pretty strong to make the playoffs, don't go, panic sell CeeDee Lamb or Jake Ferguson for dirt. But yeah, for however long Dak is out, you got to think CD and Ferguson. I don't know about a massive hit. Like I saw the stats. Like CeeDee Lamb was okay with Cooper Rush last time. Like he was getting like 6, 7, 8 catches, 50, 60, 70 yards. I mean, you didn't draft CeeDee Lamb for 15 fantasy points, obviously, but that's all he's really given you this year. I talked about it in the panic video. He's only top 20 fantasy points twice all year anyways. So I don't even know if CeeDee Lamb takes a hit. He'll probably just be the same CeeDee Lamb he's been all year, which is good but not great.
Well, the way that Cowboys offense is currently constructed, what's the alternative? What are the Cowboys options? Okay, it's time to pass. Who are we going to throw to? Let's see. CeeDee Lamb. Once in a while, Ferguson. It's still going to be CeeDee Lamb. I would say this week you might be a little nervous because of the shoulder thing. Don't know about him in practice and all that, but CeeDee Lamb, you're still starting CeeDee Lamb. You got him. All right, so Juice, we know Juice is a Saints fan. Doesn't seem like he's too sad about Dennis Allen being gone. Not surprising. And talking to Boomer. Boomer, what's up? He is up by 26 points with the Chiefs D. Opponent has Hunt. Probably good.
Yeah, you're probably good.
What about Jin Rail? Wants to know Jacobs for Metcalf.
I think it's fair. I think this comes down to team need. If you need a running back, go get Jacobs. If you need a wide receiver, go get DK. This feels pretty fair.
Yeah. I think this is fine if you need to do this or you want to do this. Dustin Forsberg, yeah, the season's been annoying for a lot of people. Let's see, not making any more moves, just going to see what this group can do. What can this group do?
Well, with Achane and Tracy, that's nice. Lamb, Cooper, Pittman, that's not so nice. Ferguson, Pitts, Coker. Oh, gosh, Coker. You can drop Jalen Coker. Let's move on. Let's move on from that hype train.
I guess.
Three. He only played like 40% of the snaps. Like what? It's like, oh wait, that's right. This guy's a rookie who undrafted free agent rookie. That's right. Pop, Madison, Mostert. That bench needs some upgrading. I'll say that.
Yeah. I mean, Dustin, you're saying you're not doing much. I mean, you got good running backs. You got Lamb is still good. Cooper, maybe he starts playing.
Unless that's Cooper Kupp, but if that's Amari Cooper, oh man.
Yeah.
And Pittman, there's no way to feel good about Pittman now.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco, not the solution. Not the solution.
Apparently not.
No. Like I might feel worse about Pittman now, honestly.
It's interesting how we kind of got the same thing from Flacco as what we got from Dalton. It was like 2 good games, maybe, or something, 2, 3, like a really good game, and then a couple of good-ish games, and then it's like, that's it. The tank is empty. We've used it all up. Yep. I'm old. It's done. They're just out of gas. And yet, I thought was weird is that they said today, like, he's the guy. Rest of the season, it's Flacco.
Because this is what I talked about. Once you bench Anthony Richardson for Joe Flacco, you are just being extremely short-sighted, hoping he can get you to the playoffs this year instead of trying to like develop your young quarterback. And if you come out there today, especially after what everybody, the whole football world saw last night with Joe Flacco, and say like Anthony Richardson's our quarterback, you might as well also just say, yeah, we were dumb for starting Joe Flacco. So their egos are too big for that. They're not going to say that. They're going, no, it's Joe Flacco. It's Joe Flacco. Like, even though they had their worst yardage total of the season, lowest first down total of the season, didn't get in the red zone a single time in that game last night, minus 0.35 EPA per play last night, and their second lowest yardage total of the season. Oh, it just happened to be in Flacco's last start prior to this. So your 2 worst yardage games were both with Flacco, and you're just sticking with him. They're just being stubborn and not letting their egos get in the way, and not just admitting they made a horrible mistake.
Yeah, Because if they go back now, then they're admitting it was stupid in the first place. So that's fine. Let them bury their heads in the sand and see what happens. If Flacco is as bad or worse next week, then they're going to have to reverse course because otherwise it's going to be jobs on the line. Yeah. All right, let's do Roger Rios. Can I drop Stroud?
I mean, it depends who you're dropping him for, but yeah, there's quarterbacks I like more than Stroud for sure.
Stroud was definitely droppable last week. Didn't think he'd have a good game against the Jets, and it was actually even worse than anticipated. Could be okay this week. But the question is, does Nico come back? But even so, Stroud wasn't magnificent before then, so he's droppable.
Yep.
Let's see. Alan Walnick has a question. Speaking of Stroud, Debo and CJ for Josh Allen.
I gotta say I'm gonna say the Debo side wins. Debo should be a monster rest of season. And I know Josh Allen is great, and Josh Allen will probably be fantastic this week against the Colts. And Joe Flacco will probably be horrible against the Bills because it's the Bills and he's Joe Flacco. But I'd rather just keep Debo and stream a quarterback. Because I just feel like Debo could legit be a top 10 wide receiver rest of the season with no Brandon Ayuk. We've seen it before. So I'm keeping Debo.
Yeah. I'm preferring the Debo side. Forget CJ Stroud. Just rather have Debo. We do have some questions for tonight. Some decisions need to be made. Let's start with the Wizard of Odds. Needs 9.5 in PPR. D-Hop or Hunt?
I'd probably go Hunt here. I just feel like his floor is higher. You need to get to that 9.5 point total. He's been scoring. It's the Bucs. He should be able to pick up, decent yardage here, get some chances to score. I think I'm going Hunt.
Right. If you needed a higher ceiling, I would go D-Hop. But I feel like Hunt should be able to get you 10, even without a touchdown, hopefully, because he'll catch a couple of passes. Yardage should be fine. So in your case, I would go Hunt as well. And it just so happens an opponent in another league is playing D-Hop. Well, there you go. Even more reason to not have D-Hop.
Right. D-Hop bust. You win both leagues.
Right. Yancey Lee, Rashad White, or D-Hop doesn't say how much or if he's up or down or what.
These guys feel very similar to me tonight.
He's saying has Baker Mayfield. I don't know if that matters.
That doesn't matter. No, these guys feel very similar to me. Like, I don't know if they either have massive ceilings. But I do feel like this could be a decent Rashad White game if they're trailing and they're throwing a lot. And he's just, he's getting like 6 or 7 checkdowns. So I might just go with Rashad White here. I feel like he's a little safer.
Yeah, the answer is the same here. It depends kind of what you need. If you happen to need a big game from somebody, it would be D-Hop. If you were up or just need a few points, I would go White. What about Homie the Clown? Start Bucky or White?
I think you got to go White. This is a very tough Chiefs run defense. You got to think game script probably going to be against the Bucs tonight, which means a lot of passing, a lot of dump offs. I'm going Rashad White here.
Yep, same thing. Bucky has been questionable all week. In fact, I don't know, he might still even be questionable. I think he'll play, but he's been banged up. It's Rashad White will get those receptions. So go Rashad White. Wayne, up by 27. Have Kelsey. He has Baker and Otten. Thoughts?
You should win this. Because even if Baker gets 20, that means Otten has to outscore Kelsey by 7. That's a pretty big ask. So you should take this home. You should win this
one. Yeah, I think Kelsey. I feel better about Kelsey than Otten. So you're looking at Baker, presumably, get you 30. I don't see it. I think you got a really good chance here. I would put money on this. Maybe. Dustin. Okay, well, here we go. Good news. That one league, you might be 3-6. This one, he's 9-0. See, this is why you play multiple leagues, people.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Happy ending. Let's get to Tyler C. This is the infamous 0.7 PPR league. He's down 11.5, flexing D-Hop, Bucky, Shepard.
Why do I feel like Shepard's going to score the most points out of this group, but at the same time, I can't start Shepard?
I said that last week, and it didn't happen.
No, because every time Shepard gets an opportunity, he gets hurt. Like, literally.
Exactly.
I'm just going to use 11.5. I'll just in 0.7 PPR, which is more than half. Like, I'll just probably go D-Hop here.
Yeah, I'm pretty easily going D-Hop. He gets the Tampa Bay secondary, which is why I think he could do something. I just, moreover, don't feel Bucky getting 12. Shepard, yeah, I learned from that. Also was offered Waddle and Tracy for Zay. Zay, who completely disregarded and mocked the Surtain Shadow. I guess we should have known better, but whatever.
Yeah, that was one of the most surprising performances. Just wow. Okay, him and JSN. Wow. Okay. All right.
So Waddle and Tracy, is that enough?
Your running backs are Connor Cook, Bucky, Pacheco. I'm very nervous for Jalen Waddle. I know it was the Bills, but he wasn't good last week either. You know what makes me nervous for Jalen Waddle is Achane.
Yeah.
Achane is like their number 2 wide receiver.
Basically.
It's like where this used to be like Tyreek and Waddle getting all the targets. Now it's like Tyreek, Achane, and then every now and then Waddle and Jonnu Smith get targets. I'm very nervous for Jalen Waddle. I mean, they do get the Rams this week, who just gave up a monster game to JSN and even gave up a big game to Tyler Lockett. But man, if Waddle doesn't do anything this week, like if he just has an okay game, oh man, he's looking like one of the biggest busts this year, honestly. So I kind of want to get Tracy, but at the same time, I don't think I want to give up Zay just for Tracy. I think I'm just keeping Zay Flowers at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's tempting to get Tracy, but the thing is, he's not even going to be your RB2. Like, you don't need a running back because you got Connor and Cook. It's a 10-teamer. I think if this was a 12-teamer, maybe, because it helped your depth, but no, I don't think so. It's fair. It's reasonable, but I don't think you need to do this. All right, good luck tonight, though. Access MIA, safe to drop Jordan Mason with CMC coming back.
I would not drop Jordan Mason just yet. I'm holding Jordan Mason through this week at least, and seeing how this plays out and how CMC looks, and does CMC get through this week and they're like, he's good, no setbacks, he's fine. You know what I mean? I don't want to drop Jordan Mason and then A, maybe CMC at the last second they're like, he's not playing, or B, after the game they're like, well, his tendonitis has flared back up. He might not play this week now. And now somebody in your league just gets to pick up Jordan Mason, starting running back for the 49ers. Not dropping him yet.
Right. Especially if you have a CMC, there's no excuse to do this. But yeah, we cannot assume, number one, that he is a full go in week 10. And even then that there's no re-injury. There's still a very significant re-injury risk. So no, don't drop Jordan Mason. All right, now it's time to get to some close calls. John Meyer is up by 6. Has D-Hop going against Kelsey.
Yeah, this is gonna be close. It's gonna really come down. I mean, I'm stating the obvious here, but it's gonna come down to how involved D-Hop is. I hope he's heavily involved tonight, because I want D-Hop. I would like to see D-Hop even if not for fantasy, although I do need him in a league, but even outside of fantasy, I would just like to see D-Hop get a chance with the Chiefs this year and be heavily involved and maybe get a ring, because I don't know. I always liked D-Hop. He never seemed too diva-y for wide receiver. He's had a great career. See if he can get a ring with the Chiefs. But I'd like to see him be, involved and have a chance to finally play with a winner.
There you go. Low key D-Hop fan. Didn't know that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's one of my favorites, but I do feel like D-Hop is one of these guys that, he had to play with a sexual predator for most of his career, and then he had to play with, he chose to go play with Will Levis, and
yeah.
But
I think Tannehill was a quarterback when he went there, wasn't he?
That's true. Tannehill might have been the quarterback at first, but still,
which is even more questionable. Anyways,
right.
I wouldn't say I favor your side, John. I think it might be more like a 60-40 toward the other one. But again, this comes down to, what if D-Hop gets a touchdown and Kelsey doesn't? You can pull it out. So you definitely can win this. We'll see what D-Hop does. Even closer, Don Wickering is down by 1. Win against Barkley. That's not good. Got Otten going against the kicker of Tampa Bay. I love that we don't use names here for kickers. Who wins?
I think Otten will win this. You're down 1. I mean, you never know with a kicker, but I feel like Otten should have a good game tonight. So I think you'll win. And yeah, McConkey over Stevenson, not the right move. Although, man, Stevenson was terrible, but 2 touchdowns are 2 touchdowns. So,
wow. I mean, last second, basically, even though it was inside the 10-yard line, Hail Mary, no look, throwing up for grabs, touchdown.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that was not only that. Drake May ran around for 12 seconds. How do you not get to that guy? Yeah.
I mean,
that's true.
Yeah, that's football.
That's true.
I think I would go with the Otten side here. I mean, I feel like you can pull this out, John. What about, talk about close? HM saying, unless there's a stat correction, which does happen, going to win by 28 hundredths of a point. Cross your fingers.
Nice. Yeah, cross your fingers for sure.
And then, help me out here. Shaw.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. CPLT, a bunch of X's, Shaw. Help up by 2, got Hunt and D-Hop versus Mahomes and KCD.
Yeah, let's say Mahomes goes for 20. So you need, and let's say the defense gets 6. It's 26. You need 24 from those guys. Yeah, it's going to be close. I think if I had to choose, I would choose your side. But this is going to be a sweat. This is definitely going to be a sweat.
Yeah, I don't know if you're good, but you got a chance. I'll put it that way. Alex B wants to know, how many more chances are we giving Pittman? Talked about that earlier.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm putting him in the desperation start tier. You don't have, you're decimated by injuries and buys. Sure, put Pittman out there, but nah, he's looking like, no doubt, going to be one of the biggest busts of the year.
You're saying he's droppable?
No, I'm not dropping Michael. I mean, in shallower leagues, 8, 10 teamers, okay, sure, but I don't think I'm dropping him in a 12 teamer or deeper.
Yeah, in a 12 teamer, I would still keep him just in case. But yeah, things do not look promising. That's for sure. All right, Cody also wants to know, with a lot of being out, who knows how long? Yes, you should definitely start waiver. You should always be waiver hunting. I mean, no matter what.
Yes.
Talked about Jameson Williams if he's out there. Juwan Jennings also talked about DeMarcus Robinson. Thielen, Odunze.
I would definitely add. Well, I think Jameson Williams needs. I mean, really, I think Jameson Williams, Jennings, and Odunze need to be added, and maybe even DeMarcus Robinson. I guess. Oh man, I mean, all those guys really should be on rosters. I mean, at least Jamison, Jennings, and Odunze should be on rosters. Did we see the post by bump for Rome Odunze yesterday? 5 catches, 104 yards.
He seems to be the only Bear that got any sort of bump. But yeah.
And I don't like to say a player looks like he's quit on his team, but DJ Moore kind of looks like he's quit on his team. Like walking off the field in the middle of a play. I like how everybody just rails on Anthony Richardson because he was tired and took himself out of the game. At least Anthony Richardson let his teammates know and his coaches know he needed a rest. DJ Moore just walked off the field in the middle of the play. And no one's railing on DJ Moore. Why isn't DJ Moore getting railed on today?
Yeah, I think he's basically getting a pass because everybody hates the coach so much that they're just like, yeah, I would do it too. They want Eberflus to be fired. So they're like, yeah, I get it. That's I think Bears fans are also kind of used to misery. I wouldn't be shocked if Odunze is just the number one receiver in that offense going forward.
Exactly. But I don't know if I want to put him over, if that's enough to put him over Jennings or Jamison Williams. I don't know. I guess maybe you got to pick up Jamison Williams. Number one.
I think if all those guys are out there, probably put JMO first, Odunze second, Jennings third. Yeah, you definitely need to go waiver wire hunting. Let's see if Olave gets put on the IR. Or worse. The overcome all, McMillan or Palmer.
Well, McMillan's out, so you got to play Palmer. That's the easy one.
Easy one. I love those questions. Everything great. Baker, Mahomes.
I'm going Mahomes here over Baker. I like, he's just got the better matchup.
I think it has to be Mahomes. I know Baker has been much better for fantasy, but the Chiefs' defense is one of the best in the league, and Tampa Bay's secondary, their pass defense is one of the worst. I think it seems too obvious. I hope it turns out this way. We'll see. Leo Hilo drops what? Why would you drop Sutton? Sutton or Watson for Trey Palmer?
No.
What?
I mean,
drop anybody for Trey Palmer.
Yeah, I'm probably not dropping anybody for Trey Palmer, honestly. But I will say, who knows what's going on with this Green Bay? Because we saw yesterday, 2 weeks ago, we saw Wicks and Watson split snaps. 3 weeks ago, we saw them split snaps. 2 weeks ago, it was Christian Watson took over that role again. And then this week, Wicks was slightly ahead of Watson. I mean, I guess if you want to drop Watson, it's fine. But I don't want to pick up Trey Palmer. I have no interest in Trey Palmer.
Zero. Yeah, Trey Palmer's had chances. They drafted Jalen McMillan basically to take over the wide receiver 3 spot instead of Trey Palmer. So...
And by the way, what did you see that throw Jordan Love, that deep bomb to Christian Watson, where Christian Watson just stopped running and jumped for no reason?
Yeah. The ball was right here, and he was like,
"It's like, dude, just keep running, and you probably just scored a 60-yard touchdown." But you I don't know if it was a rain or what. He just stop and jump, and it's like, oh wait, the ball. I could have just ran and got the ball, but what are you doing, dude?
Yeah, that whole game, basically for Green Bay, other than Josh Jacobs running, was kind of ugly. At least Jaden Reed did cash in. Jaden Reed made some big plays. We knew he could. Yeah, you can tell Jordan Love. They really shouldn't have played Jordan Love. I mean, they just shouldn't. They should have waited till after the bye. I know they wanted to beat Detroit. Guess what? Didn't happen. Probably made his injury worse by being out there in the rain. All right. What about this one? William Patterson only needs 80, but has Mahomes, Ott, Worthy, and Hunt.
I mean, I don't know. Let's say Mahomes and Hunt get you 20. Let's say Mahomes, Hunt, and you need 20 from all these guys.
Right.
That is a big, big ask, William. I hope it happens for you, but that's a big ask.
Yeah. That's look, I try to be optimistic, but I also like to be realistic. So there have been games in the past where players have scored 3 touchdowns. Perhaps Xavier Worthy happens to pull one out, but probably not. All right, what about Jay Smells? Love or Darnold rest of year?
I'm still going Love. I'm not like, okay, I know Love. I know Darnold was better this week, but Love's been better most of the season. Love's in the, Love I think is the better quarterback here. They get the bye this week, and then he should come out of the bye fully healthy. Right? They have the bye this week, don't they? Yes.
The Packers do, yeah.
Yeah. So he should come out of the bye fully healthy, ready to go. I'm still going Jordan Love over Sam Darnold.
Right. If he's healthy, it's Jordan Love. Darnold did put up some good numbers. But this week, I mean, obviously Love's not playing, but this week I did mention on the waiver video, I think Darnold's the best streaming quarterback if he's out there, which I was kind of surprised, I guess, because it was a good matchup against the Colts. His ownership was even higher than I thought it was going to be, but he'll still be out there in some leagues. I like Darnold this week because of the matchup, but going forward, it's going to be Love. Big Pescado, Worthy or Hopkins?
I'll go Hopkins here, unless you need like a huge game. Like if you're down big and you need like that home run, then maybe I'll go Worthy. But if it's close, go Hopkins.
Yeah, just going Hopkins here. This is the same question twice, just worded very differently. So Gibran Sattar, which Bucks receiver would you play? And McMillan is out, and also Grace Crouch. Basically, it's Shepard or Palmer. So which one?
Yeah, I'll go Shepard. I feel better about Shepard getting targets than Trey Palmer.
Exactly. Shepard, even if he just plays for a half, I think I would go Shepard.
He might.
James Biggs, less than a point. Separating him and his opponent, Mahomes versus Bucky.
I mean, you should win this unless Mahomes just has the worst game of his career, which he probably won't.
Yeah, it better be Mahomes. That would be super tilting if you lost to Bucky. Mahomes. Cody again. So he's ahead by 1. Asking again, are you benching those guys? That's probably what I would do. Bench the defense, but still play Kelsey.
Yeah, unless you're like, if you're fighting for a playoff spot and you're not already like one of the highest scoring teams and you need every point, then maybe play both. But if you're good, right? Like you're one of the higher scoring teams, you're probably, comfortably in a playoff spot right now, then yeah, I might just play it safe and bench the D.
The chances of a player getting negative points, and not just random player, but a player like Kelsey, like very little. So, Edgar Padilla, wondering about Isaac Garendo because CMC is supposed to come back. Mason, is he still worth it?
I think so, at least until we see like how this thing shakes out this week. Sure, if you have room for Garendo, why not? Because if for some reason CMC doesn't play this week and Mason is still banged up with that shoulder, it might be Garendo. So I think he's at least worth the stash right now if you have room on your bench. I think we might have lost Pierre.
It's boring. Great times.
What's that?
It's pouring again here, storming like crazy.
All right.
Jet Shepard wants a rating on this 10-man league. Got Josh Allen, Saquon Mixon, Henry, Pollard. Jesus. Wide receiver have CeeDee, Jettis, Cup, Metcalf. Come on, really?
Yeah, this team is ridiculous. And you got Bowers. I mean, $9.9.
Yeah, I now have questions about whether this is even a legit lineup, honestly. So let's do Justice Reborn. Time to drop Murray and Waddle.
No, okay. Look, I know Murray was horrible this week, and man, like, I think one of the most tilting plays of the week for me was the Cardinals being at the 1 yard line, and they ran like a play action fake to Trey Benson, and McBride like rolled out, and McBride was literally uncovered, and all Kyler Murray had to do was float the ball up, and like I don't know what he didn't see, but he decided not to throw it right away, and then he had to scramble a little bit, and he threw it out of bounds, and it's like, dude. Literally the exact play that was designed was as wide open as it can get. All you have to do is float the ball. But anyways, just because guys have bad games doesn't mean they're droppable. Like if Murray had been horrible all year, I'd be like, yeah, drop him. Like CJ Stroud. Like, yeah, CJ Stroud has scored 15 or fewer fantasy points in 5 of 9 games this year, and he's only hit 20 fantasy points once. He has not been very good. Okay, you can drop CJ Stroud. Kyler Murray has had some monster games this year at QB. You can't just give this guy to somebody. Now, Waddle has been horrible this year, but I'm not ready to drop him yet. But look, if he's horrible against the Rams again this week, then I might be dropping Waddle. We'll see.
I think that's fair because, again, Tua has been back for 2 games, right? 2 games, and this week was a bad matchup. It was really tough. They do get the Rams, which is not a bad spot, and I think they play like the Patriots, the Raiders. Like, it's not a tough schedule going forward. So I think you've got to give Waddle at least a little bit longer of a leash. Is that Daniel Jones from a Daniel Jones schedule? I don't care what the schedule is for Daniel Jones. I'm not going Daniel Jones over Kyler Murray.
Yeah, no.
ZZ Bops with a super chat. I don't see a question though. So Zizel Bops, if you got a question, you can comment it. We'll put it up. All right, back to Tyler C. Okay, so that Waddle Tracy for Flowers deal, wondering if he should offer Zay and Connor or Cook for Kamara or JT.
I mean, if I can get Kamara, I'm going to get Kamara. The only thing that's going to stop Kamara at this point is injury. And apparently running backs, this is not the year running backs are going to get hurt. Kamara on pace for 370 touches at 29 years old, just chugging along. Joe Mixon, I don't even know. Like somebody replaced Joe Mixon with like Barry Sanders or something. Like it's not even Joe Mixon out there. Derrick Henry, 30 years old with like 5,000 touches under his belt, just running through the NFL right now, just laughing at defenders. It's just a running backs year. It just is. We're just gonna look back and be like, yep, everybody who went wide receiver early took it on the chin this year. So if I can get Kamara, yeah. Now JT, I'm a little nervous for because I talk about this a lot. Like there's this myth out there that running quarterbacks are bad for running backs because they vulture touchdowns. And sure, they do sometimes vulture touchdowns, but they also open up huge running lanes for the offense. And we saw last night JT worst running game of the year with Joe Flacco. I don't think that's a shock. Now he does get the Bills this week, which is a good matchup, but I think it's better for JT if he has AR, honestly. So I'm not gonna trade Zay and Connor or Zay and Cook for JT, but if I can get Kamara, I'm getting Kamara.
Yeah, we talked about this at the top with the Allen firing. Right now, he is everything. He is the offense.
Yes,
he's going to be their leading rusher. He's going to be their leading receiver going forward. So I think you got to prefer Kamara over JT. So if it was, Zay and Cook for Kamara, that should help your team. I think it's doable. It's doable. Nicodemus is up 24. The op has Kelsey, Hunter Otten.
I don't even think it matters here. I mean, Kelsey has to score 25 points and Hunt or Otten has to get you a 0. I don't know. I'd probably just go with the running back Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, you can play it safe. Just take Hunt. He'll get you some points. I mean, Otten will get you points too. Let's go Hunt. I think you got this one. So Doug Fenton, first of all, saying thank you. Of course, we'll continue to help. now 6-3, but needs to drop one. Tillman on the bye, Dobbs on the bye, or I guess Worthy.
I mean, if I have to drop one, it's probably Worthy. Tillman came through. Now, granted, it was extreme garbage time, but he came through in a tough matchup. Dobbs did not come through, but I mean, come on, that weather was terrible. Maybe we should have been more worried about the weather in that game. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, but it didn't affect the Lions.
No, that's true. Yeah, which is weird. Like, shouldn't Green Bay be better equipped for the weather than the Lions? You literally play in Green Bay.
Yeah, I think it was more about Love not being 100% than the rain.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess if I have to drop one here, it's Worthy. Let's see what Worthy does tonight, though. If he does nothing tonight, I might just drop Worthy.
Yeah, I'm dropping Worthy. Although, again, like you just said, you don't need to do this right here, right now. If Worthy does nothing, drop him. And best upside, I think it's got to be Tillman.
Gotta be Tillman.
Jordan Olsen. It's probably okay, I guess, to let go of Jalen Coker.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. It's interesting. It's like it wasn't just the hype. We all love the undrafted rookies out of those small schools, but this was an absolute smash spot. You know who smashed? The tight end, JT Sanders. That's the guy who was the leading receiver. He took advantage of the slot position there. Just happened. Yes, you can drop it out. John M. Making a comeback from 1-5 to 4-5. Playing the guy in last place next week. There you go. All right, back to 500. Agree, like, subscribe, notifications, all that good stuff. Which, by the way, also, don't think I even said it. Don't forget we have an app. You guys don't know about it. We have an app called Draft Lane. Get your questions answered. If you haven't tried it, check it out because it is a free download. App Store, Google Play Store. You can ask your questions anytime, not just when we're doing a live stream. And you can use it 24/7. One of us will directly answer your question. Any type of question, starts it, waiver wire trade, whatever it is. And it syncs with your Yahoo and Sleeper League. So if you haven't tried Draft Lane yet, go ahead and download it. All right. How about Quincy Davis? Needs 20. Got a kicker. Shepard or Worthy?
I mean, I think down 20 with a kicker, I probably just gamble on Worthy and hope for a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm not too thrilled about Worthy, but how excited can you be about Sterling Shepard? And just, again, the matchup. Going against Tampa's defense, going against KC's defense. I got to go Worthy here, too. Because you do need some upside, right? Like a few points, 6-7 points, that's not going to do it for you.
Right.
All right, interesting trade here. Paraiko. Trade Dell for Chase Brown.
Wow.
Chase Brown had himself a nice game. And did mention this, Zach Moss out, what did it say? Indefinitely. It's a neck injury, so you know it's not going to be anytime real soon he comes back.
Exactly. A neck injury for a running back. This is not good. I mean, I don't want to cast a dark cloud, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Zach Moss rest of the season.
Yeah.
So unless the Bengals do something drastic tomorrow at the trade deadline, which I doubt, we're looking at Chase Brown as a potential league-winning running back here. I'm taking Chase Brown in this trade. I'm gambling on the fact that I potentially have a workhorse running back for the Cincinnati Bengals. Basically, I have Joe Mixon with Joe Mixon with more juice. I know people are gonna be, oh, Joe Mixon's been great. Yeah, he's been great this year. Go watch Joe Mixon with Cincy. He was a very average running back. I don't know how he got good all of a sudden. But I have Joe Mixon with juice in the Cincinnati offense. Give me Chase Brown.
Agree. Chase Brown now Basically, now I don't know if Bell Cow is going to be really his role. There's some talk Cincinnati might get a running back at the trade deadline. Who knows? But it's still going to be Chase Brown. They're not going to integrate some guy they just acquired midseason and all of a sudden make him like, 50-50 timeshare. I don't think. So, yeah, I would take Chase Brown here.
I mean, he 32 out of 32 touches yesterday, 80% of the snaps. If they do trade for someone, okay, that's going to definitely pour cold water on this. But if they don't, who?
Oh, yeah.
Who's taking touches from him? Who?
Exactly. Hey, trust me, where I got Chase Brown, I'm hoping they don't. I'm really hoping that they don't. I was big on Chase Brown the preseason. He just needed the opportunity. Guess what? Here's the opportunity. Frosif, 7-2. Upgrade at the flex or see if Olave Waddle work out. I wouldn't hold out much hope for Olave.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you try to upgrade it. Well, you got Tracy on the bench. That's pretty nice. You got G. Will Puka. You got Bijan Kamara. Now you got Tracy. Yeah. You're 7-2. You got Tracy. I mean, G. Will looks like a every week start. Puka, as long as he's not getting kicked out, is an every week start. Bijan's an every week start. Kamara's a potential league winner. You got Hurts. You got McBride. Look at this team. You got Tracy now. You're good. You're good.
I'll say at the very least, I think Waddle is flex worthy. I mean, like I said, the schedule is getting better coming forward. He still has upside, but Tracy might just be your set and forget flex anyways. So, yeah, if you had something, worth dealing on the bench besides those two, but no, I think you're good. Big Mac Brad has Amon-Ra, Olave, Brian Thomas, DJ Moore, and Waddle. What's the panic level on DJ Moore and Waddle? We've talked a lot about Waddle. How legit worried are you about DJ Moore? Do you think he's given up?
I don't know if he's given up, but you got to be worried. I mean, what has DJ Moore even done this year? Like, I
think he had that one good game back in like week 2.
Yeah, like I don't think I'm going to say yes to DJ Moore once this week unless somebody's asking me like DJ Moore or Elijah Moore. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to have to be somebody really bad for me to say yes to DJ Moore. Like, yeah, sure, there's going to be weeks where DJ Moore probably has a good game here and there, but you willing to ride out the 4 or 5 point game, 4 or 5 point, 7 point, 8 point weeks until it happens? You got to be very panicked, like very panicked here.
Honestly, I'm holding out hope, and I know a lot of people are fantasy Bears fans that they just get rid of Eberflus. And this is a thing. Apparently, it's a thing. I didn't really know until I saw this today that the Bears never fire coaches mid-season. Like, they're always waiting until the season's over. I don't know why, but it's just a thing. Maybe it'll be a first. Maybe we get some fresh blood in here. They really need to honestly not only get rid of him, but also Waldron. He's, I think, more problem.
Well,
that's not true. They're both problems.
That's the problem, though. Even if they fire Eberflus, are they going to fire Waldron? They just hired this guy this year.
Yeah, that's why I don't think it'll happen. I think Eberflus could, but Waldron they probably won't. But
right,
I don't know. You know what it takes? It takes something like losing to Carolina. Losing like by 40 points. It takes something humiliating to happen. So maybe it'll happen. But yeah, you should definitely be worried. I wouldn't say panicked, but worried about DJ Moore. I'm not panicked about Waddle, but slightly concerned. Let's see what happens. If you can get a better wide receiver, go for it. I like these questions. I like this is a good one. James Biggs. Opponent left his kicker slot empty, so he played some defense by picking up the Tampa Bay kicker just to prevent him. Is that morally acceptable?
Absolutely. Good work.
You should get like when you get like those trophies, like if you're playing Madden or if you're playing any like game and you do an achievement and like you get the trophy. You should get a trophy for that move just for doing that. That's commendable. Broseph. Do I try to get Brees or some other big RBPs, sure.
Yeah, if you can get, you might be able to get Brees right now. People are pretty worried about Brees. You might be able to get him.
Okay, so he's basically asking like, hey, forget wide receivers. Why don't we just go for a running back because they've been better this year?
Yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with getting Brees. Brees should be great rest of the season. I keep saying this. Just needs the touchdowns.
Yeah. All right, Jet Shepard is swearing that lineup is real. Okay, if that lineup is real, I'm going to give it a 9.99. Yeah. Convinced. I'll put this up. He convinced the 0-6 owner to sell Henry, CD, and Pollard for Dobbs, Brees, and Laporta. Wow. That's what we call fleecing.
Yes.
What's up, Anthony? Daylight savings time? Yeah, I actually had forgotten about that. But good thing our phones automatically update.
Right.
All right. Happy football. And football is going to start in a few minutes. So we're going to keep doing a few more questions. This is just what we were thinking we were going to be talking about at week 10. Chris. Gesicki? Is that Taysom Hill? Or is that Tyreek?
I assume Taysom Hill. I hope Taysom Hill.
Mike Gesicki has legitimately been better than Tyreek Hill the last 2 weeks, and that's facts.
Well, I'll say this: if T. Higgins is out again this week, it's Mike Gesicki because they get the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
If T. Higgins plays, I might go Taysom Hill, although it's close.
I mean, because it's Baltimore, I still feel like Gesicki is very playable for tight end. It just so happens this week, as I mentioned, Bauer's on bye. Some people have been rolling with Tucker Kraft. He's on bye, and Njoku's on bye. So a lot of people do need a tight end. I feel like hardly anybody picked up on Gesicki last week, even though he was clearly in a smash spot, and he definitely smashed. I think if you need a tight end, just go with Gesicki regardless. Where Taysom Hill is always, Now that everybody's going to be like, hey, you got to start Taysom Hill now. Of course, you know what's going to happen. You really know.
I mean, they need Taysom Hill now. That's the difference. They actually need him now.
Exactly. When they don't need him, that's when he'll score 3 touchdowns. And when they're like, hey, it's going to be a big Taysom week, nothing. No, honestly, I wonder now, because even though it's not like a new coach brought in, it's like one of the assistants, right? A coordinator, their special teams guy or something. It's not Dennis Allen. It's not the same coach. Is they're going to be like, hey, we got to use these Taysom Hill packages? Or are you going to be like, screw that. Let's try to run a real offense.
I mean, maybe, but they don't have a real offense. That's the problem.
Good
like
point.
you're running a real offense through Mason Tipton and Cedric Wilson or whoever they have.
No. Good point. Joe Estrada traded Deontay for Chase Brown. That's looking like a fleece now. Is it?
It might be a fleece. We'll know by end of day tomorrow. Again, if they go out and trade for, a Chuba Hubbard or something, then it's gonna pour some cold water on Chase Brown. But man, if they don't, yeah, it's gonna be a fleece.
Right. Too early to say, but also, I don't think Deontay is going to be worthless or anything in Baltimore. It's a pretty good offense. So
yeah,
I think it's a win right now. Let's do this again. Daniel Hart, Mahomes or Baker?
Going Mahomes over Baker this week.
Going Mahomes, much, much better matchup against the defense. Stroobs is in scramble mode with the injuries to receivers. Okay, so both Jacoby Myers and Cedric Tillman are on waivers.
I mean,
well,
both.
Here's the problem. If you need somebody this week because CD doesn't play, it's got to be Jacoby because Tillman's on bye.
Yeah, but I think you can drop. I think if you
wait a minute, Jacoby's on bye too.
Oh, that's right. They're both on bye. But if you need these guys rest the season, like we said, you may not have Olave rest the season. We don't know if CD's going to miss time, and he is going to have Cooper Rush. This might be one case where I drop Mason, just because you need these wide receivers. And yeah, Chubb is droppable.
He's not playing this week either. Doesn't help you. It's gonna really, I really hope before waivers run, like tomorrow, that we find out something about Olave. If you're gonna put him on IR, put him on IR, right? Is he like
Right.
just shut down for the season? Because what's the point of playing him? Just shut him down, right? Let us know. Come on, think of the fantasy community. Let's see. Keith Vines is up a good amount, 13 points. Got Tampa Bay's kicker versus Auden. Yeah, you should definitely get it.
Yeah, you should get it. I mean, even 13 points for Auden is a pretty big game. That assumes your kicker gets nothing. So, yeah, I like your chances here.
Like chances too. You definitely should pull it out. Samantha Pfluger, welcome back. Rate my team. Purdy, Debo Downs, Sutton, Swift, Stevenson, McBride, Butker, Minnesota. Nix, McConkey, Bigsby, Pearsall, Ertz, Nico, and Jennings. Guess we'll assume it's a 12-teamer.
It's very 49er heavy. Purdy, Debo, Pearsall, Jennings. Go see if you can get CMC, Jordan Mason, and Isaac Guerrero too. Let's just do it. Let's just get George Kittle.
The kicker.
Sutton, Swift, Stevenson, McBride. Doesn't say how many teams it is. I'm gonna assume a 12-teamer. It's all right. Like down Sutton, they're okay. Swift Stevenson, like you're running like Swift Stevenson or your RB1, RB2?
Unfortunately, it's a 10
team. Sorry, Samantha. I got to get in like a 10-teamer. I think I got to give this like a 7. Yeah.
Yeah, 10-teamer. It's fortunate. I mean, yeah, injuries are killing. I mean, look, you are getting Nico back, so put him in the mix there. So Nico and then Debo, Sutton down. So your receiver room is good. You don't have an RB1. I mean, Swift has been solid. Stevenson has been solid. But you don't have, like so many teams have, a Saquon Barkley, a Derrick Henry, an Alvin Kamara. So that's the thing. It's going to make it tough to compete in your league because everybody else has got those guys. So you have a shot here. I don't know if you could package anybody to get an RB1. Maybe if there's a team that's in need of a receiver, because a lot of teams are in need of a receiver, you can try to package like a Sutton and a Stevenson to get a stud running back. You could try that.
Maybe in a 10-teamer. I mean, maybe.
Start McConkey,
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Right now, I had to say it's more like what's that? Cali Kid played Harrison over Jason. Yeah. We got was it Mitsubishi Marv this week and JSN? But like, honestly, where did that come from?
I don't know, but I cannot wait for week 11 when they come out of the bye and DK Metcalf plays and everybody puts JSN in their lineup for the 6 points that he gives them. Look, it happens. It just happens. Random. He did this before in like week 2, and then he disappeared for the next 6 weeks or whatever it was. Like, it's fantasy football. It's anybody that's on the field and is talented has a chance to do that every now and then. So, yeah, of course you're going to regret this. I mean, one guy was the top scoring player in fantasy, and the other guy was a complete bust. So, of course you're gonna regret it. But you put JSN over Harrison in week 12, you might regret that decision.
Yeah, and just rewind the clock 1 week before Harrison had 100 yards and a touchdown. JSN did not that much. It's week to week. You never know. Is it time to try and trade Harrison? I mean, this is not the time because he's coming off a bad game.
Yeah. Never the time to trade a guy coming off a terrible game.
Right. Brado blends. Rate this team and Eddie moves. It's standard. Cousins, Cup, Harrison, Henry, Hubbard, Ferg, Neighbors, Braylon, Coleman, Corum, Benson, Mooney, Brooks, Chargers. It's 12 man, but
All right,
standard.
standard. I would like to be better at running back in standard. I mean, you got Henry, that's great. And look, Chuba's been good. But behind them is Braylon Allen, Blake Corum, Trey Benson, Jonathan Brooks, like just handcuffs. You got Cup, Harrison, Neighbors. But this is standard. Like Neighbors isn't even that good in standard scoring, honestly. Like Neighbors is actually borderline terrible in standard scoring. Was he really? No, he gets like, you look at his stats the last few weeks, it's like 70 yards, 50 yards, 40 something yards. It's like, okay, yeah, he gets a lot of catches, but that doesn't help you in standard. Those catches are zeros. You only get like 50, you get 5 points, you get 4 points. Like that's horrible. So, oh man. I mean, I'm happy that you're 4-4, and I mean, I'm sure a big part of that is Henry and Chuba, of course. But I would be trying to get better at running back here. It's a 12-teamer though. If Henry can stay healthy, that might be enough, honestly. So for a standard league, I'm gonna say like 7.75.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm looking it up because you said that. Not terrible. Right now, Malik Neighbors is the wide receiver 16 in non-PPR. But you could probably get something back because of, like, I guess, name recognition, whatever you want to call it. You would try to flip Neighbors to get a better running back. Somebody's going to be all crazy about Neighbors. So, yeah, you need to get better at running back. George Brennan. 3-6 in playoff survival mode. Yeah, Lamb and Olave hurt. Sell Lamb for help.
I'm okay selling Lamb, but you still got to get a stud. Like maybe you can get Kyron. Finally didn't score a touchdown. Like maybe you could get Gibbs, but he's been pretty good. I mean, if you can get Breece Hall, I might do that. I might take Breece Hall. I don't think you're getting Kamara or Mixon. You probably don't want A.J. Brown because he's hurt. I mean, if you can get Nico, might be coming back from IR, I would probably do that. I mean, it's still got to be a stud. You still got to get a stud. Nah, I'm not.
Just so happens you say he already has Nico. He happens to have Lamb, Olave, Nico, and Higgins. All the hurt receivers, or just some of them.
Well, hopefully Nico and Higgins will be back this week. At least Nico should be back. Hopefully we get Higgins back. But yeah, I'm not trading CeeDee Lamb. I'm not taking Brian Thomas Jr. or guys like that for CeeDee Lamb. No chance. I'm not taking Cooper Kupp for like I know Cooper Kupp had a really nice game this week, but remember Puka Nacua got kicked out in the second quarter. So, and they were throwing the ball a ton. So, yeah, it's got to be one of those studs.
Yeah, and exactly. None of those just straight up. That's not enough. But also, yeah, Olave, you may not have him the rest of the season, but you are about to hopefully get Nico back, and Lamb is still playable. So, yeah, it's just got to hope Lamb plays. Got to hope Higgins plays. Zach Stevens, let's do a couple more. It's almost game time. Hunt or Irving?
I think you got to go Hunt here. He's a lead back. He's got the better matchup. He's got touchdown upside. I'm going Hunt.
Definitely going Hunt. Kevo. Trade Tillman to somebody who wants him? Sure.
Depends what you're getting. I mean, I'm not just going to give somebody Tillman because they want him. Like, here you go.
Yeah.
But if they're going to give me somebody really good back for Tillman, like if they're like, if they're looking at their team and they're like, I don't know, Brian Thomas stinks, or they're like, T. Higgins is never healthy, or Mike Evans is never coming back. Like, okay, yeah, you can have Tillman. Take Tillman.
You can't play Tillman this week anyways. This is a good time to trade him, sell high. Again, Tillman will be good rest of the season, I think, but it doesn't mean he's going to score a touchdown every week. So sure, go ahead and trade him and buy low on somebody else. He's asking Tillman for Ramondre. Is that good enough?
That feels fair. It feels fair. Like if you need running back help, that feels fair.
Yeah, fair. And let's just end with this. Don, to enjoy the game. Soon to be 6-3. All right, very nice. Everyone who needs help tonight, good luck. Whatever side you're going for, hoping you pull it out. And check out all the videos still coming up. We got some from last night, today, tomorrow, every single day. And of course, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Appreciate all of you being on here, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. It's a big night tomorrow. Let's talk fantasy football on our live stream. Yeah, so all that other stuff, trust me, will make you happy. Talking football will make you happy. So join us tomorrow as usual. All right, everyone have a good night.